freaking crazy.
Shut up! We're on air.
For the first time ever.
Welcome to Teens in Our 20s, bitch!
Yay! I'm Erin.
And I'm Taylor, and we're the co-host of this podcast. You get us, and no more. Maybe more one day.
We're just two besties.
Two besties.
Been best friends for 12 years. And I guess our goal for this podcast, if you're listening, we just want to help share our experiences in our 20s. The title, Teens in Our 20s. We obviously are not ready for our 20s, but here we are. And we are all on different life paths, and I feel like a lot of people don't share their experiences. And even us being best friends for like ever, we are both on different life paths. So we want to share our funny stories, and we just think we're funny. So I feel like our conversations need to be recorded.
So before we get started, we're still trying to figure out how to be podcasters. So if the audio is not great, I'm sorry. There is going to be a video version up because that's how things work nowadays. And I know how to do that, but I don't know how to do audio. So getting into it, we're both college graduates. I graduated too complicated. You know what?
You graduated December
of
22.
I graduated December of 22, and Erin graduated in May of 23. Yes. Which I feel like we should do a whole episode on our high school experience, which kind of explains why I graduated earlier than Erin, even though we are the same age, but we'll get into that in another episode because that gets messy. But just to we're both college graduates. I graduated with a degree in media, and Erin graduated with nursing.
My BS in nursing. So I'm a registered nurse at a local hospital.
Which, as you can tell, that's two very different things.
We are alike in many, many ways, but not in our degrees. Like, she did all of this. I'm here to speak. That was it.
Right.
And we have so many different kind of concepts when our jobs are concerned.
Yeah.
That we're just totally different in that.
And I feel like that's what, it plays into being in your early 20s. Like, Erin's a whole ass nurse, saving babies' lives every day. And I can't find a job in media. And I've been graduated for almost a year now. And I sell glasses for a living because somebody hire me, please. I'm a great social media manager, marketer. And I'm great with video. Maybe not audio, but
She missed a couple
I really didn't like audio, and somehow we're here and I'm making a podcast. Anyway.
This is part of her job, so you guys listening,
right?
This is great for her resume.
Also, I'm building my knowledge in audio, but we're both 22. We were born the exact same year, and our lives are so completely different. Yeah. Which is kind of why I feel like we wanted to start this podcast, because not only Erin may look and sound like a whole adult, but as you're going to learn on this podcast, she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing either.
I am not. I'm paying my first car payment on Sunday, and I'm literally waiting until midnight on Sunday to pay it, so the money doesn't have to come out of my account.
Literally, it's a mess out here. Being 22, a fresh college graduate, Who said let's do that?
And you're going to live it with us.
Yeah. So we're going to figure this out. And the next time you see us, we're going to have two microphones, and we're not going to keep going like this.
Yeah. So, I guess now we're going to get on a little bit. We talked about why we're doing this podcast, but now I guess we're just going to tell you a little bit about our friendship. Yeah. This is the fun part for us. We met
the volleyball club.
Yeah. So we both met. We were what, 10, 9? We were young.
Well,
No, it would have been our 12s, but 11's year. Yeah.
No, it was our 12's year. So we were
11. Yeah. Okay, so we were 11. We played volleyball all of our lives. We met because we got put on the same club team. We both went to different high schools, and we didn't know each other at that point. And it was kind of just like a bond.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. You think about us being 11 in the early, like, 2010s. So, 2012.
12, yeah.
And we were weird. Like, we were the couple of girls. But that's how our bond, I think, is so strong. And growing up in the 2010s, too, I feel like it's so different now than, like, teens growing up now. Because we didn't have all this media. And we didn't have all of, I don't know. You could just be weird and no one would judge you.
Yeah.
So I think that's why our bond got so strong. And we travel with our club. So we traveled to Michigan. We traveled to Tennessee. And then the big one is Florida. And it helps that our moms were besties too.
Oh
And we could get into a whole nother episode about our moms.
Oh my God, we need to have
Shout out Leslie and Dawn, who are probably listening.
Yeah. I think when it comes to our friendship, I think it's like, I don't know, when I look back on it and how we became friends, it like makes me sad. Because, so I played for this club since I was 3 years old. My first like team that I like played on, I was 9. And then I did a 10s team and an 11s team. And then we met on our 12s team. So my 9s year, my 10s year, and my 11s year, I was always on the open team, which is like the best team in the club. And so for my 12s year, I got knocked down to the second best team, which was where Erin and I were both on that team. But for me, like finding that out in that moment, I was distraught. Like I was leaving all my friends that I've literally grown up in this club with. I could drop names, but like I'm not going to.
We have to be careful.
I have
about who we
famous
name.
friends.
We are going to tell you our stories, but we're not going to say that.
Yeah. But anyway, I was like, this sucks. Like, I'm leaving all my friends. All my friends made this other team. Like, this is going to be, like, I don't want to be with these weird people that I don't know. And then one of my most beautiful friendships came out of it. So.
Also, I want to put in that that was great for me. That was only my second year playing, and I was on a regionals team that didn't travel the year before. Right. So then I got put on the 2s team, and I thought it was great. So I was
Which
like,
it is.
It is great. It is great. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But going from a 1s to a 2s, a 2s to a 3s, it does like hit you in your chest, and you are sad about it.
Which volleyball brings both of us a lot of trauma. Which we'll get into a whole nother day.
We can do a whole episode about volleyball.
But, like, just think about that. Like, being 12 years old and, like, being told, you're not as good as you were last year. Let's move you down. The fuck?
We also traveled a lot for 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
We, like, were everywhere. We were expected to get up at 5 in the morning for practice, for playtime. Like, we were on the court. We were disciplined. We were running. And I think that's also why our friendship is so strong, because we did have to go through all of that. I'm not saying that it's bad. Like, it makes great athletes.
Yeah.
Like, we know famous girls who went off to play at the D10 level.
Yeah, that I played with every year.
Yeah. Like, we played against them. We played with them. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's great to have your friends there, because you go through some shit that you know really teens should be going through.
Right. I think it also kind of like paved the way to be the people that we are today, because even though we're 22 and we don't know what's going on, and there's times that we act like, or we feel like we're 16 years old, there's a lot of people that I'm friends with that didn't grow up playing sports in general, not even just like volleyball and the club that we went through, because the club that we did go through is one of the most famous volleyball clubs in the world, and so it was a very structured club. But I think just having it in my mind, and now we both coach, I can see the difference of kids now and kids my age that didn't grow up with that kind of discipline and
it's a lot different.
Yeah.
Like, we both coach for an extent. It's the same club.
Yeah.
It's just in a different city.
Yeah.
And we both coach there, and it's a lot different. expect a lot because we were always expected to give a lot.
Yeah.
And this generation, it's not that way because there's a lot of mental health issues. There's a lot of just things you need to tread lightly on, I feel like. And in our generation, it was get on the line. You're running. You're running until you throw up. And, like, that's why I think our friendship was also so strong. Like, I don't know. We just had to go through a lot. And like I said, we were weird. We were weird kids. Yeah. Like, this is our second debut on the internet. Let's just bring that up real quick. Okay. We need to add that clip in somewhere.
So I was a media major because growing up, I love TV, I love movies, I love music.
Anybody else obsessed with MadCon? Shout out them. We were obsessed
with MadCon girlies through and through, to the point where this is kind of what made me go into my career, which is a great backstory, but also kind of cringy at the same time. But I was a YouTuber, and not like the type of YouTubers now, like 2010s. I wanted to be Bethany Moda, but I wasn't anywhere near Bethany Moda. So Erin was always a special guest in my vlogs.
I loved it. I loved everything about it. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know any, like, another 4-2 of that. Like, I didn't know anything about it, so I was like, yeah. I'll be there. Cool.
Erin was more of a Vine girl, whereas I was more of a YouTube girl, which I think you can tell in us now.
I think you can.
Like, I feel like our fashion, our interest, even our For You pages. Yeah. So I used to be a lifestyle YouTuber. Shout out Alicia Marie, I love you.
We did like our skin routine.
Get ready with me. Get ready with me 2010 edition.
And it was rough.
It was so rough. I don't know. We did some challenge where I don't even know what the point of was it the best friend challenge?
It was.
And we just had to answer questions about each other, and if we didn't,
you would get water poured on you. And we had these like chunky goggles on.
Not the goggles.
We looked like absolute weirdos. Like,
I forgot about the goggles.
Okay. And then a bee was chasing us. Like, I vividly remember that shit. God.
I remember.
It's okay. Keep rolling.
For all my audio listeners, the ring light just died. And for all my video watchers, I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on. I remember the thing that I remember about that. This will show like how obsessed with movies and TVs and music I am, which we'll get into my music. I was gonna say career, not my music career. My music obsession in another episode because it goes a long way. I remember I was wearing this Radio Disney t-shirt that I won with a packet of a drawstring bag signed by Sophia Carson that I went to the dentist one day when I was supposed to be at school, and I was listening to Radio Disney and I won the contest. And I still they gave me a luggage tag, and that's what's on my suitcase still.
If you don't know, we're still stuck in the 2010s.
If you don't know what Radio Disney is, because it's not a thing anymore, it was literally a radio station created by Disney Channel. It was an XM station.
That's where a lot of people got their break.
For sure.
Like Cody Simpson,
yeah.
That was great.
Thank
for
you.
The audience.
As my music career, as we were talking about earlier. Anyway.
Yeah, we also did weird, like, the things we could do, like, with our, like,
I feel like we had, like, every, like, I feel like we had our DIY era. That was tragic. We had our makeup area.
Our Jacob Whitesides era.
Our Jacob Whitesides era.
We still are a little bit in that era. I feel like I love him still.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't go to his concerts anymore. But
I feel like we had a fangirl era, and mine just never ended.
Yeah.
As I am at a different concert every week, which we'll get into later. I'll give you some experiences next episode. Well, maybe not next episode. I have 2 concerts next week, so we can talk about that. We'll go into detail because it's going to be good.
I just go along for the ride.
Yeah.
Unless it's Taylor Swift, count me out.
Right. Unless I have nobody to go with me and Erin has money, then she'll come.
Yeah.
And now that she's a nurse or whatever, she should have more money to come with me, so I don't have to go alone.
But I must pay my bills.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing in your 20s. Like, I didn't know how to do at all. Like, I got my plates the other day, and I was like, that much for plates?
for real though.
I was like, what? And my dad, because I'm the only girl in my family. So my dad was like, yeah, you get a little reality check. I was like, yeah, like hardcore reality check.
Literally.
I hated everything about it.
Literally. That's the worst thing ever. And I don't understand why I have to pay for this roof to be over my freaking head.
Right.
But, like, I get it. It should just be mine.
But anyways, our friendship. That's how
yeah.
we became friends. And that's a little bit of backstory on us.
I feel like the most important part of our friendship that we need to touch on is Erin and I have been friends for 11 years, like we said. But we have other friends. But majority of them have come, and most of them have gone.
Left.
Bye. But
we are the girls who start out in a friend group, and then it's just us.
Just us.
At the end.
Every
But
damn time.
Also, we try.
And the thing is, this may be Delulu, but the problem is never us.
Never us. And we're going to get into that. We'll get into friendships.
Yeah, we need to do a whole episode on toxic friendships because we have stories.
Yeah, because you think someone's your bestie. and
Maybe,
they're not,
yeah.
babe.
So come back next week if you want to hear
Yeah.
about our toxic friendships.
They're not. They're not your friends. I promise. And a lot of people are like, once you lose your childhood friends. But, like, I see it. I see it differently. Especially the people you meet in your 20s. Like, they will come and go. You never know who's going to stay because we're all on different life tracks. And then the person that you've been friends with for a really, really long time, you don't expect to see them every day. You don't expect, like, you can call them every couple days and say, hey, here's an update on my life. That's what we do. We FaceTime each other. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
But with friends you just meet in your 20s, they don't know everything you've kind of been through in your life. And
I think, so I've obviously been in my 20s for 2 years, but almost 3 years, but
we're almost 23.
I've met a lot of people in the last 2 years, and I think the only friend that I've made in my 20s that has stayed, there's only one. And that's somebody I met from when I worked at Starbucks, Nicole. Shout out, love you.
I still have my friends from volleyball, which I played in college, but we didn't really touch on that, but we'll touch on that in the volleyball episode. But I played volleyball in college, and I'm actually seeing them tomorrow, so shout out them because I'm so excited to see you guys. But we all went our separate ways after college, and it's sad, but at the same time, we still catch up. They're nurses too, so we have each other's schedule in nurse grade. If you're a nurse, it's great. Yeah. You can see other people's schedules.
But I also think the funny thing about it is the friend that I was just mentioning is the only friend that I've probably met in my 20s and kept for like a long amount of time. I mean, there's people here and there that I talk to that are acquaintances that if I slide up on their story or see them in public, I'm going to say, hey, but this is the one person I talk to the most. She just hit her 20s like 4 months ago. So I think like that kind of says a lot about that. Because I really think a lot of people say it's the people that you meet in your 20s that like impact you the most. But I don't think I agree with that. Which I'm like, again, we're only 2 years into our 20s and like that could be so false. I mean, we can meet people like any day, but the true friendships I have, the true people that I can call every day, I met almost most of them in middle school, some of them in high school. Some of them early college.
We rely heavily on the people that we grew up with. Like one of my friends just got married. Shout out her. But we check up on each other sometimes. But I hadn't seen her for like 4 years since high school. Yeah. And it was great to be there to celebrate with her. But it also made me really sad because we didn't keep up after high school. Right. You know what I mean? And like you find those people and you're like, hey, I want to see you again. Like this is kind of sad that I haven't seen you in a minute. And I feel like it's just our personalities too. We are big lover girls, and we don't like to let go of people.
Yeah.
It's an issue.
And I think that's almost why our friendship has stayed so long. We have another really close friend that we met during the same year of volleyball. And we're both really close with her. I'm a little bit more close with her than Erin is, but I mean, she's one of those ones that we can call up anytime and we talk to every day. Erin almost talks to her. It's like once every 6 months, but it's like nothing happened. I talk to her right now like once a week, but usually it's almost every day. But I think she went a different way in life friendship wise than me and Erin did. And I think that's why because at one point she was the closest person I was with, and I can say her name, I don't care, she doesn't care. We're talking about Lexi. Hi, Lexi. She was my closest friend in life, but then things went different when we went our separate ways and we grew up different. Like, she has a complete different personality than me, and that shows in the other people that she's friends with. But I think me and Erin are very similar in the way we love and the way we give love. That's why our bond has stayed stronger than any of our other friends that we've known for.
We are lover girls.
Lover girls. Bonded for life.
Yeah, we don't like to let go of the people that we love.
Yeah.
But it's because we're big family oriented too. I feel like that's a big role in it too. And our families have always been close. So since volleyball, since we all hang out together. So I think that's a big thing too. I just feel like we're alike. We're different in a lot of ways, but that is one of the areas that we are 100% the same in.
I also feel like if you are listening to that and you agree, or like you're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely the same way. When we do a whole episode on toxic friendships, I feel like that's why it's so much harder for us, and that's why we have such a like.
I think we have higher expectations for people than they realize.
Yeah.
And then whenever we we'll bring up something that bothers us, it's an instant fight. And I hate it.
That's not how me and Erin are. I think in our lifetime, in our friendship, we've had, honestly, I don't want to even count the little fight when we were playing volleyball in your driveway and you yelled at me. I think the only fight we've really ever had was maybe, last year? And it was all a miscommunication. But
we figured it out.
But every fight that we've had with anybody else has always been such a bigger catastrophe, because I know that if this is literally what happened in our fight is there was an issue, it was a miscommunication, but I texted Erin and said, hey, why aren't you talking to me? Why didn't you invite me to the 4th of July? We were supposed to fucking hang out on the 4th of July, and she didn't answer. And
let me get backstory on this.
Yeah.
For the people who know me, I don't text. I don't. I like to call people if I talk to them. Like, I'm not a texter. I don't do Snapchat. I'm very much a grandma. I don't do any of that. And I will take 3 days to text you back. I'm never on my phone unless it's TikTok. Yeah. But I am the type of person that goes into their shell and needs to be by themselves. I need to be by myself. If a fight happens, I'm give me a couple days to cool off before I talk to you, because I'm gonna be mean and I don't want to be mean to you.
Which I think in that instance I didn't know, because we've never had a fight like that before, and I've always seen her fight with other friends that we've had, and she's just ghosted them, and I was just okay, whatever.
I go through friends quite a lot.
Yeah, she does. And I'm just always there.
It's me.
She's the problem.
I'm the problem. It's me.
But in this fight,
it might be.
I didn't know that's how she reacted, and
because I don't say my emotions. It's a big problem in my love life. Right.
I'm right, yeah.
I don't tell people how I'm feeling unless you pry that shit out of me. But I'm no emotions, demon mode. No.
Yeah. But I feel like you're like that with everybody else but me, because you knew that once you calmed down, once you weren't heated, that you were going to yell at me for whatever you thought I said. You were like, Taylor, this is what I heard that happened. Is this what happened? Because why would you what? Yeah. And I was she just came to me and was listen, let's figure this out. And I feel
I had to take 3 days.
Yeah,
Before
I
the
mean,
July bender
it was
that
the
I went on.
weekend. Yeah, and I wasn't invited to any of it, so I just sat at home and cried. Like, where's my best friend? Anyway, I feel like that's why we've become so close, and I feel like girls nowadays in their 20s don't do that.
I feel like, because we had a recent fallout with a friend. Yeah, and I feel like it was very, very abrupt, and I did the same thing because that's just the way that I handle fights. I want to be left alone for a minute, and, like, I'm going to tell you what's upsetting me at first, but then I'm going to go ghost mode. Like, I need to have a couple days to, like, deal with it, like, see what I'm feeling about it, and, like, you need to not speak to me. And I feel like she took it as, that's the end of our friendship, you know what I mean? And it was just me setting boundaries with it, because I hated the situation. Like, I was genuinely, like, upset with the situation. Yeah. And it was a quick drop me. And I was like, okay.
I also feel like this is one thing that I've learned through my therapy journey, which we'll talk about later.
I don't have one.
Yeah, Erin doesn't go through therapy, but it's fine. But what I'm about to say is something I learned now that you've already been doing. And so in this friendship breakup that me and Erin had recently with one of our other close friends, we were kind of all like a little trio, and then shit went down. Erin and this person were friends before I was included in this thing, and then we all just became friends.
That's usually
how it is, because I was homeschooled and I don't talk to people. Anyway, let me get back to my story. So my therapy journey taught me that in this friendship breakup that we had, Erin told, let's call her Joe. Erin told Joe right up what bugged her. And when Joe came back and said, hey, okay, I see how you're feeling, but this is what bugged me. Erin's the type of person who she's going to fight for how she feels. And so Erin laid it out all on the line and was like, cool, great, glad you feel that way, but fuck no. Like, this is what went wrong. Like, this is what you did to me. This is the way it made me feel and everything. Which some people, like Joe, probably read that and was like, oh my God, this bitch just attacked me. But my therapist has told me that you're advocating for yourself. You're fighting for yourself, and you're telling, like, the way you feel. You're laughing, but it's a good thing, because it's almost like a relationship. Like, you have to, I feel like that's why we've got along so well, because you've always told me if there's an issue, how you want to be treated, as a friend, and I feel like that's why we've stayed.
Boundaries, bitch.
And I'm the opposite. I have
to pry stuff out of her.
Yeah. And I feel like I've had a toxic friend now for a while that Erin's like, just drop her. Just lay it out on the line and drop her. But I can't do that. I'm a lover girl. I give everything to this friend and I don't get it in return.
Yeah, I feel like we are different. I mean, I know we said we're both lover girls, but I feel like we're different on the back end of that. Yeah. To where I'm like, if you don't love me the way I'm loving you, I don't want to deal with you.
But I feel like I'm a fixer.
You are.
And I'm the type of person that, and maybe I could fix him, as Olivia Rodrigo would say. I feel like that's how I am.
I'm like, cool, have a nice life.
You're like, that's not my job.
Yeah, that's not my job.
You're like, I don't want to do the extra work. And I'm like, I feel like the reason I'm like that is if I've put in so many, like if I put in all this time being your friend and I've done all of this for you and I've taken my time to, I don't know, go to the mall with you, and you don't take your time to invite me to the mall with you, or even if it's something mental or anything, like, I'm like, I spent all that time doing that, and now I'm just going to drop it? Like, now it's just going to go away? Like, I don't like that. Like, I'm like, I want to fix this so all that time wasn't wasted for nothing, and I didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah, comment. I don't care. I will go. I guess our friendship's a little different because I mean, you're one of the only friends that I've
fight for.
Yeah, like not saying that I didn't try to fight for this friend, but the things she had said to me just really turned me off in the moment. And I had said, give me a couple days. Why can't people give me a couple days to deal with it? Everybody's like, no, let's deal with the situation now. You even did it to me. And I was like, leave me alone for 5 minutes. I know, but it's a character flaw, and you know that about me. And I need like 3 days. Give me 3 days.
Too much time.
Give me 3 days.
Why?
I have OCD. You gotta give me 3 days.
But I feel like in this friendship breakup that we've been talking about, she was like, Erin was like, should I just like fucking send it and just tell her all this shit? And I was like, no, hear her out, hear her side. And she was like, no, I already sent it. And it was like, oh, so this friendship is now over because there's no going back from that.
But in that regard, after I say all that, like, I expect you to come back and be like, like maybe, because she had a different side to the whole story.
Right.
And like, drinking doesn't make it better. No. Once you start mixing alcohol in there, it does not make it better because you both are very delusional. You don't know what's happening. And that was a very drunk night. And both of us were feeling some type of way. Other friends were telling us this happened, that happened. And we just couldn't figure it out. And I wish her the best.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah.
I feel like eventually, if y'all want, we can tell this story because we all sure as hell know Joe ain't watching this. Joe does not give a fuck about us. Joe doesn't even know we have a fucking podcast because Joe doesn't want to talk to any of us anymore.
So if any of you are watching this and you want to be my friend, give me 3 fucking days.
None of the advice you're going to get from us is logical. I'm going to have a song for everything.
It's our experience. And I mean, it's our personality too. Like I said, everyone's on their own journeys. Like, people are getting married, people are having kids. Not us. No. And like, great for them, but I couldn't picture myself doing that right now.
No, so, me neither.
I think that's also what makes our friendship great. I mean, I do have friends who are married, and I'm like, oh yeah, your husband can come. Yeah. But it's just weird saying that. Like, yeah, your baby can come. Yeah. That's also weird for me, but I'm like, I love them, but I don't have either one of those. And I work with babies all day long. So I'm like, it's weird when patients ask me, oh yeah, like the parents' moms are like, oh, do you have kids? I'm like, no, I'm still 19. What do you mean?
But I'm not 19, right?
Yeah. I'm like,
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people in their 20s have just been ready to fuck, and they all have babies now. Or they're all just like,
we don't want that.
I had babies, and now I gotta get married. And I feel like that's where, which not everybody in their 20s is like that. A lot of families and marriages are planned, but I feel like that's where Erin and I's maturity level in our 20s is higher than most people we know. You know that line in Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo that's like, and I made a TikTok about it. Go follow me on TikTok at Tay Hunter. And it was about like a toxic friendship, but she says something like, girls your age know better. And I feel like I like that line because I feel like girls my age don't know better, but we know better because I have that sense of maturity level.
I just want to be loved.
Right.
Not us, but like girls in their 20s.
And I feel like I see myself as like, I'm 22. This is the outlook that I have on life when it comes to marriage and babies and like partying and drinking and stuff like that. And I feel like that's why I'm like, girls your age know better, because I'm 22 and I know these things and I know how it should be mapped out. But a lot of 22-year-olds don't know that.
I agree. I agree with that. I feel like a lot of 22-year-olds are wanting to live. I mean, it's great. It's great to live in the moment. But, like, at the same time, you need to be a little bit realistic on how you're living your life. And maybe, I don't want to say grow. I feel like that's mean.
Grow up, yeah.
Yeah, not grow up, but, like, be realistic.
I also feel like everybody takes college as, like, oh, my God, let's party, let's get drunk. If you're a freshman or a sophomore, do it. But as a junior and a senior, calm down and figure out what the fuck you want to do with your life. Because I saw it as, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go get this degree, but I also have to work for it, and I also want to have a social life. And now I can't do anything with my degree because I don't have a portfolio. So even people like Erin couldn't have become a nurse without having all the practice that she had. Erin took her junior and her senior year seriously and went out and did shit instead of going and partying every fucking night because...
I also, preference, I did go out and party. Not saying you shouldn't have a social life, but I balanced it.
Yeah.
There's a balance.
I feel like that's
and the word. I prioritized my studies.
Is a lot of people in their 20s don't have balance. Because I feel like everybody, like, even when you watch, like, Friends or something, everybody, like, sees their 20s as, oh, this is the time you need to live and learn and do all these things and go out and party. Yeah, but this is also the time where if you don't have your life figured out by 30...
Figure your shit out. But we're here. We are your guardian angels.
Oh my God, I love that.
Love that. That should be the new podcast.
I feel like that's the one piece of serious advice that, like, I know I'm right about, which might sound delulu, but figure your shit out before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, have fun, but also
balance.
Know what you're going to do with your life.
Yeah.
Drink your water. Know what you're study, ace that test. Like, there were weekends where my friends were going out, and I was like, sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm studying. She sent me a TikTok the other day, and it was this girl literally studying at a Olivia Rodrigo concert. And she said, this would be you. And I said, I wouldn't be there. Like, right. I literally would be at home studying. Like, I wouldn't even put myself in that situation. Right. Just because I don't know. I just wanted to love what I do, for one. And then, two, I wanted to be successful after college. Like, I have a new Jeep. I talked about paying the bill on that, but like I did that with my money that I got out of college. Like, and I feel like I'm just financially set.
Right. I feel like this is something that makes me so ticked off, and if you ever say this to me, fuck you. I get a lot. How do you go to all these concerts when you say you don't have any money? I know how to balance, you know? Like, that's the one thing I love in my life. That is the one thing I look forward to. Like, that is my thing, is going to concerts.
She will be at one time I saw her Snapchat, and she was in Chicago. I was like, bitch, why are you in Chicago? She was like, oh, the concert. I'm like, I didn't know you were going to that.
That is the one thing that I love in life, that I will drop everything and do it for. But because I know I'm like that, and I don't want to miss one of my favorite artists coming to town, I know that I have to balance my life for a concert, which sounds dumb, but I also know that I have 2 dogs, I have a roof over my head, I have to feed myself, I have to feed my dogs, I have to pay my bills, but I'm still going to find a way to go to that concert because I know that's what I want to do.
That was my thinking when I bought my car.
Right.
Yeah. I was
that's
like,
what you
reward myself. I mean, yeah, I'm going to pay a shit ton of money, but I can do it. If I wanted to.
You take the time and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't be figuring shit out with their money.
But we did pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like we touched on a lot of little things that we could go so much deeper into. So let us know if you want to hear more about anything we touched on. We're definitely going to do an episode of Toxic Friendships. We'll definitely give you a backstory on volleyball because there's a lot of deep trauma and love there.
Clearly, we still coach. So, we still love it. I'm still going to my homecoming game tomorrow to watch players that I played with. So,
which I definitely want to talk about because I want to talk about why I coached after I had such a tragic experience with volleyball because I think it's important.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like that's a whole nother episode. So, if you're a volleyball player and you are... even if you're looking to play in college, if you play club, if you have coaches that maybe you just don't like very well and you think they're ruining the sport for you, we relate
all the advice for you.
And we will give it to you. But we'll also just touch on, like, even our funny college experiences. Not that we're out of college. We haven't even been out of college for a year, but we have lots of stories for you in college, kind of how to navigate that relationship
Or not navigate it at the same time.
Navigate it. Just, we'll just give you the best piece of advice. Relationships, I feel like we got a lot of knowledge. Her more than me.
Yeah.
But
we also talked about this, but we don't know if we're gonna do it. But me and Erin mostly big readers. Erin got me into reading, and I feel like we talked about doing like one episode a month of kind of just our like favorite books of the month, because I know the book talk and the book pods are all such a big thing. Erin will probably have like a lineup of books for you every month, where I might have like 1.5 because I'm a lot slower.
Yes, shout out to Sarah Moss, because I just finished her ACOTAR series. Those books are thick, just letting you know.
So if you want a little book review, book talk episode, let us know.
I can go on for hours about.
Right.
And I tried for years to get her on the train, and she wouldn't until summer I turned pretty. Shout out to them too. I gifted her that book for Christmas, and I was like, you have to read this.
And I was like, I don't want to read it. I've already seen season 1 of the show. And then
I was like, no, it's so different. The books are always better. I was like, you have to read it.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. And I'm still recommending books to her.
And I'm like, slow down. Slow down.
I'm a very fast reader.
So yeah, we'll do a whole episode on that, but we should probably wrap this up, because now we're just running on a tangent of things that I really don't even know what the plot of this episode was, because we talked about 500 different things. But I think
our friendship, our background, us, what we're gonna do in the next couple of months.
I think that's why our podcast is gonna be so good, because we just start talking about random things.
This is something, even if people don't listen, this is something we've wanted to do for a really long time. Because we just want a hobby for ourselves, kind of. And it's great to have hobbies in your 20s.
Please get a hobby. Also, I didn't tell you this, but we kind of posted a little bit of an announcement that the pod was coming next week in real time. So when you're seeing this was last week that we're filming it. But we posted a little announcement, and I had so many people reach out to me. But at work, I work with a lot of people late 20s, mid 30s to even older, and a lot of them kind of reached out to me about it, which I thought they were going to be like, oh my god, why is she doing a podcast? That's so weird. But a lot of them actually reached out to me about it and was like, honestly, that's so cool. Like, I need to find a hobby, because working on 8 to 5 every day of something that you're not passionate about is draining. And we can talk about everything that I went through with that and the depression that it turned me into. But I think even like so many people were like, that's so good of you to have a hobby. Like, I don't expect you to be like, this isn't cringy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's what we were afraid of. Yeah. Even posting like on our Instagram, we didn't, because like we are very, I don't know how to say it. We are afraid of being judged because of, I think it's just because of our generation. We grew up differently to where we didn't have all this. Yeah. So like we couldn't see people that we didn't know across the world like on Instagram and judging them, how they look, what they do, stuff like that. So I feel like, and we were cringy YouTubers. So I think every time we would make videos when we were younger, we never want to post about it, because we were like, people are gonna judge us, and people did judge people. Like, you can find the hell out of me.
Yeah, and you can find stories about that and tragic stories about that all over the place. But I think
I never did.
I'm such a girl in therapy. But I think my therapist would tell us to post on Instagram and tell people that we are doing this, because I posted on Facebook and Snapchat because I wanted all my relatives to know that I had a podcast. But I feel like we should force ourselves to post it on Instagram.
We are learning. We are growing with you.
Yeah.
With you guys. So
if you
keep listening.
Yes, which you can follow us on social medias. I'm still working on the TikTok page. I think it's...
Also, shout out to her, because I don't do shit. I talk.
I love social media marketing. I love social media. I love social media management. So if you know anybody that needs a social media manager, please find me. But you can find us on Instagram, our personal Instagrams. Mine's Taylor with 2 R's, Hunter with 2 R's.
I don't know what mine is.
I think yours is like Erin.Roach.
I don't know. With 2 H's.
You
3
can probably
H's.
find her tagged in one of my pictures.
I don't know what mine is.
You can also follow us on our TikToks, which is in my Instagram bio, and you can probably find a video. Erin doesn't even have TikToks.
I don't do TikToks.
Erin doesn't post TikToks. I love a good TikTok.
I repost them. I'm a ghost. I'm
A ghost of TikTok past.
the ghost of life.
But we'll also have a pod TikTok and maybe a pod Instagram. I don't know if that's cool anymore. I don't know if Instagram's cool anymore. I mean, I feel like that's how I
God,
know.
I hope we're not getting to that age.
Right.
I hate that.
Like,
That
I feel
just made
like-
me sick.
Anyway, we'll for sure have a TikTok. Probably it's going to be Teens in Our 20s pod. Go follow it. Go follow us. Subscribe to our podcast. Like, share. I don't know what people do on like share, comment, rate.
Listen. I don't know.
Listen.
Listen. That would be
And
great.
if you want to watch.
Yeah, keep listening if you want some. I don't know if you'd call it great advice, but it's advice.
There's also lots of funny stories and tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, if you just are in your 20s or about to hit your 20s and you just kind of want to feel less alone of like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, that's what we're here for. That's what this podcast is, because we don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening to our first episode of Teens in Our 20s.
We will see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
That was cringy.